Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be back in Valorant doing a Jett specific guide. For all of those of you that have been asking, Duckeeh, are you quitting Valorant? Duckeeh, are you quitting Valorant? Because literally everyone in my comments has been asking me that. No, I'm not quitting Valorant, but I am very addicted to Overwatch 2 right now, so hopefully you guys can kind of understand that that's where my grind is right now, and that's what I'm really enjoying. So I don't want to force myself to play Valorant if I really don't want to. I will still be making guides, as you can see by this video, but, you know, and one day I'll probably be back in and interested in Valorant again. I know there's a big update for this game just recently, but yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into this guide. Again, it's going to be about Jett specific smoke tips. Alright guys, so the first tip for this ability for Jett smoke is going to be that you can, one, curve it, but also that it has a range, okay? So understand both of these things. You're usually not going to run into any problems with the range, but just understand that you can't throw it like super far. Outside of that, something I really never see Jett players do is curve their smokes, at least in people that I coach and people in like below Immortal or below Radiant. People just don't curve smokes. So here I'm going to go and throw a smoke. Basically how you curve a smoke is whatever ability you use to throw a smoke, you hold it and then you turn your mouse, right? So like this. You see, I could turn this like crazy, right? And then there's the limit. You can only throw it so far until it just stops and then opens. So how can you use this then? Why is curving a smoke good? So let's say we're trying to smoke this. We can just throw the smoke like this. That's great. But the downside of this is that we have to be peeking, right? So if we want to throw a smoke here, we need to be peeking this in order to do this. Because if we try to throw a smoke like this, you're going to have to do some like crazy lineup. Maybe not crazy, but it's just going to be kind of annoying, see? Like just to kind of throw this. So instead what we can do is ping where we want to throw the smoke. And maybe like jump and then kind of do this, right? And this honestly makes it pretty easy. You might want to throw this a little bit farther forward. Kind of like this. Maybe like this. This is actually pretty decent. If you can get this, it's going to be a little hard to land perfectly at first. But if you can get smokes like this, it's going to be really nice. Really useful. And so this is, if you're a Jett player, this is probably not something you utilize very often because I really rarely see people do this. Another smoke on this map you could do is like right here. Let's say that your Omen or your Brimstone died very early on. And then, so you want to smoke here. But you don't want to peek mid. You don't want to peek mid so you can throw a smoke like this, right? Because if you do this, then you're going to be like exposing yourself to, you know, all sorts of long range weapons, maybe even an op. So instead what we can do to start is ping mid first. You know, we're probably not going to want to throw it from back here. It's going to be a little more difficult. Try to clear out mid, you know, make sure no one's flanking you, make sure that this is clear, make sure no one's peeking here. And then you can ping where you want to throw it. And then again, jump and kind of just go like this. And then this is really nice, right? This is sick. And you can walk up mid, your team can do this. And it's better than having to peek to throw it. So these smokes might not be the best examples of this, but you can do all sorts of kind of long range curve smokes. Another one might be like, let's say we're pushing out of A main or something, right? We're pushing out of A main. We've already taken all of this control. Instead of, you know, running to peek like this, maybe we want to curve the smoke around the corner so that we can dash that way, right? Maybe you want to go like this or something, right? So then we have a little bit of room to work with. Then you can smoke like this. I don't know. It's really just useful to know that you can curve the smokes, right? And so that's this tip. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. But really throwing smokes over top of objects and then down is really useful. I'll see you guys in the next tip. Okay, guys, so for the second tip, I'm going to be showing you how to properly use your smoke or smokes to get out and entry into site or just take space toward a site. So for this example, we're going to start with pushing out to B. Your standard job here is going to be to hit the switch because pretty much nobody else on your team is really going to be doing that. Maybe some people, maybe you're the duelist, but if nobody else is doing it, you really want to kind of do it yourself because you have this amazing smoke to work around. We're also going to assume that this and this are smoked. If these are not smoked, you can still do this and it'll still be fine. But so let's say we've already kind of cleared out most of B main, but now we need to kind of clear out this area. So first, make sure that you're walking out, clear everything. I've shown this like 100 times on the channel. Clear all of these things, and then, you know, if you think someone's about to peek, move back. And just be patient. You know, you can take 5, 10, 15 seconds to do all this. Always understand your corners. What corners have we not cleared yet? We have not cleared this corner. We've not cleared this corner, right? So always be aware of that. Someone could also be on the left over here. That's pretty rare in my opinion. But also they could be lane. So now we're here. We're chilling. My hands are off the keyboard, right? Keyboard and mouse. And so this basically, at this point, you need to make a decision. Like, okay, am I going to go out, dash in? Am I going to smoke, run in? Or are we going to rotate? Because for some reason, right? For some other reason. So at this point, I would highly recommend if you want to go out smoking, you can dash. You don't really need to dash here, although it can be useful if your team is having trouble getting pressure, getting out, you know, explosively. So let's just do this without a dash first. So first, let's think, where could we smoke? We could smoke over here. We could smoke in the middle, or we could smoke more to the kind of the right here. Now, if you really think about it, to me, the best thing you could smoke here is kind of like in the middle. So, you know, you've already cleared this out. You're just waiting. Again, this is supposed to be smoked because our teammate's supposed to have a controller before we push in. We smoke like this, and then we just clear here, and clear here, and then we just kind of, it's a pretty easy walkout to hit the switch, right? Because, you know, this ensures that even though this is smoke and the smoke, you're not going to get like flashed, you're not going to get like pushed out on through the smoke, and you have a smoke to play around with. And another way to do this is to smoke here, activate the dash here, clear the corner, clear this corner, clear here safely, and again, hopefully these are smoked, and you can just hit the switch. So a couple things I want to emphasize here is that one, I didn't have to use the dash in certain scenarios. A situation where you really might consider using the dash is if you think there's going to be someone lane and you don't want to just run out, not know where they are, or, you know, not have to deal with like a judge or shotgun here close. The other thing is, notice I only used one smoke here, right? I didn't ever throw 2 smokes to get out. I never did something like this. Like, this is just not necessary. I see quite a few Jett players waste smokes like this. Like, you really want to save one smoke for later in the round or rounds to have to play around with, because smokes are valuable, right? Like this, even if this and this are not smoked, this smoke right here really allows you to kind of come out pretty safely. As long as you play it around properly and you have a good awareness of where you think enemies are, you can smoke, you close this and then throw another smoke. But let's say, you know, we're here, we only use one smoke. Now we have a whole smoke to play around with. So like, you know, we can peek spawn if we're really crazy, get a kill, you can smoke like this, and now there's some ambiguity or some unknownness about where the enemies think you are. So again, let's go ahead and go over to A quickly and kind of just emphasize this point again. I think really a nice part of this tip is just understanding that there are multiple places you can throw your smoke, and the way in which you play around your smoke can be a little tricky as well. So here, again, we've already cleared this out just to save time. You can smoke to the right, in the middle, or to the left. Personally, I kind of like to throw the smoke either in the middle or to the left. Kind of depends where I want to go. Now, if I want to go kind of like toward back sight, or clear out all this sight, then I like to throw it in the middle. But if I want to go toward the switch, I might even smoke like this and just kind of like run out, clear close, make sure all this is clear, and then hit the switch. Again, hopefully this is smoked by my teammates, so I don't have to pay too much attention to that. But here you're probably going to dash if you go like this. But something cool that you can do with smokes is you can play around them, right? So if you activate your dash, you know this is all clear. You think there's someone back sight, throw the smoke, activate your dash, and then kind of like, you don't have to come out the front of it, right? You don't have to come out the front or the right of it or the left of it. You can even throw a smoke, throw another smoke, and instead of going into that smoke, come this way. So hopefully this is kind of eye-opening to you guys to like see how you can kind of easily outsmart your opponents, because, you know, whenever you throw a smoke like this and you dash into it, enemies are going to expect you to keep running forward, but you don't have to do that. Or if you throw a smoke like this, enemies are going to expect you to be inside of it that are maybe like Jen, but you could kind of walk around this way and then catch them off guard when they think you're going to be like pushing through it or inside of your smoke. Hopefully this makes sense, but basically, again, to recap, usually only use one smoke unless in a situation like this where you want to like trick them or something. You know, figure out if you want to dash or if you don't want to dash, because if you're going to smoke like this, you don't really need to dash. You can just kind of use this as cover, clear close, and then Jen, right? And then hit the switch. And then also trick people with your smokes, right? Throw a smoke, throw some tricky smokes that enemies are not really going to expect you to not be in, or expect you to be in, vice versa, right? And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the last tip. Okay, guys, so last but certainly not least, we have Jett one-ways, which are honestly extremely useful for the right situation. Not every situation, you're not going to be using one-ways all the time, but one-ways are a very nice tool to have in your toolkit as a Jett player. So first, I want to talk about the one-way smoke height, like where should you be throwing it at to properly, you know, catch your enemy off guard, because if you throw it too high, they're going to be able to see under it, and then it's not even a one-way. But if you throw it too low, then you can't even see their feet, and then it's kind of too hard to shoot them in the head anyway. So this is going to be the proper height right about here. So here you can see, this is, you're going to be able to see kind of like the bottom half of their body, and you're going to kind of be able to presume where their head is at. As long as you have good headshot placement, this is pretty good here. Now I'll show you guys some examples of what too high looks like. So too high would be like up here. And again, they're just gonna swing, and then, you know, it's not a one-way. And if you throw it too low, like down here, this is just a smoke, and, you know, this might be good, but this is not a one-way. And then again, like right here, this might be okay, but this is a little low because you're just gonna be able to see their feet, and you're gonna have to kind of guess where their head's at because you can't see like half their body. So this is a one-way. Now I want to talk about what situations to throw these types of things in. It can be really good to either slow enemies down or to catch enemies off guard, in my opinion. So if you're in a lower rank, it's gonna be good to catch enemies off guard because they're not gonna really know how to. They're not really gonna think like, oh, this is a one way. He's probably holding this. But in higher ranks, it's gonna be more like, okay, they have to respect it. Like, okay, this is a one way. We can't peek this. And if they do, then you know it's gonna be a free kill anyway. So try to be adaptive with how you use these. You know, you can throw a one way practically anywhere, but you know, try to be smart about it. Again, learn the height. Once you learn the height, these things are awesome. Like this, right? So you can throw these anywhere. There are some spots that are better than others. Like for example, like a choke like this. This is pretty good if they want to peek like through here. And it's also good if you want to like run through and you think they're gonna like push you or something. You know, if they're really close behind you or they're trying to knife you, I don't know. But if you hear people running, for example, like say they're running A main, you could throw a one way like this and see if they're gonna peek you, right? But if you don't hear them, or if you have no evidence to suggest that they're coming A main, there's really not a super big reason to one way, right? Whereas like, you know, maybe we're over here. This could be a good way. This is gonna be a little bit harder to throw. If you think they're gonna peek very early on in the round, again, this one has a bit of curve. Use your curve, right? This is a bit too high, or a bit too low, I mean. But throw it a bit higher. And then here you go. This is pretty good, right? This is pretty good. This is gonna catch a lot of people off guard until you do it for once or twice. And again, swap it up, do it all over the map, and get your free kills. Honestly, quite frankly. So, anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this Valorant content, Valorant video. Let me know if you guys want any other Valorant videos. Let me know if you want any other Overwatch videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.